Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur.
Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason.
Hello and welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails. My name is Elizabeth Kloof and today is Wise Word Wednesdays. And what is Wise Word Wednesdays? Well, Wise Word Wednesdays is where I share with you a resource or a book or software or something that I have found really useful for my business. Because quite frankly, finding out about all that stuff on your own is exhausting. And why not, save yourself some time? So I've done a couple of, a lot of books, but I've done some online resources as well. And I think I've talked about this one before, but it's one of my favorites. So it's worth dedicating a whole 10 minutes to. What I use quite extensively is called Canva, Canva.com. And it is an online resource where you can create visuals. And what I mean by visuals are, Facebook covers, presentation pieces. I'm just going into the different things that they offer. So when you head on there, your first page that you land on is create a design. And that's where you have to go through and choose what you're trying to create. The ones I find that just speed the process up and allow me to change up my my social media headers is the social media posts. So they come pre-formatted in the pixel size that will fit exactly into what you're trying to do. I have found it a really frustrating exercise for clients especially. I work in Adobe Illustrator, so I can create the art boards and do all of that. But even when I created according to the dimensions that they're given for the pixel sizes, something ends up going funky chicken, and it's just a pain in the butt. And what I discovered when I was sadly separated from Adobe Illustrator for a month or two was Canva is a really excellent way of still generating, I would say professional quality social media posts. Not posts, sorry, that's not the right way to put it, but social media graphics that can really add a good splash of professional design to your online profile. So some of the stuff is post related. I don't use it as much for that, although the one I do use quite frequently is the Instagram post. I find it fantastic. I think it is just such a lifesaver, and regardless of your product or service, there are ways to engage on Instagram using these graphics that are really handy. A new one that I just created was What's Hot in Health. And so I opened up the Instagram art board and then started adding the graphics. Of course, you need a plan ahead of time, right? This should be part of your communications and marketing strategy. So I created What's Hot in Health for the next 4 months. I used graphics that I had created in Illustrator and then uploaded them into my catalog that now exists on Canva. I use it so much that Canva actually sent me an email to go, hey, we noticed that you're a really heavy user. Thank you so much. Promote us, so here I am. Fantastic amount of free content that's really nice, photography if you are not able to get good photos. Luckily, I'm a photographer as well. I just took a whole whack of flower shots that are really cool, so I'm going to use those in the backgrounds for some of the quotes that I do. I use this to create quotes. I use it to create for Instagram. I'm still on Instagram. Quotes is a big one because quotes gets a lot of traffic on Instagram. Make sure that they're quality. I'm lucky. Or not lucky, but I've curated quite a few high quality quote sources. I don't tend to use the ones online. I'm still a bit of a book girl. I can't help myself. And so I got some background graphics from FreePic just because I wanted to focus on having communication, the speech bubbles in the background or brains or things like that. I just did a whole series of knock-knock jokes. So on Sundays, I send out a knock-knock joke through Instagram. And if you listen to my last last podcast, those days where your brain is just going, yeah, no, I don't want to work for you. This is that day. I did the boldly go, get the maximum mileage. So the advantage of using Instagram as a distribution for your social media content is that you can hook it up to 4 or 5 other channels And because these are pre-formatted, it's no brainer. You just up and go. And you can brand everything. You can add your logo to stuff. Try and be consistent in your fonts and things like that. So we'll do a couple of graphics tips as well. But anyway, so you can do, a standard social media 800 by 800 px. Not sure what that's for. That's a bit of a general one. The Facebook one, let's just have not Facebook, Instagram size is 1080 by 1080. And you could create that artboard in Illustrator if you have that access. But when you don't have access to that kind of graphic software and you're trying to MacGyver stuff and you're trying to muck around with your photos, or you're trying to create content ahead of time, which is what I try and do. I try and spend, a couple of hours on a Saturday and just bang out a whole series of content for Instagram. I save them in my, so here we'll segue just a little bit. Once you've used Canva for regardless of what you're using it for, if you're using it to create a series of posts to use on, for example, Instagram, once you've done that, I tend to pull my graphics for sharing on Instagram through Android from my gallery. I download them onto my computer and then upload them into my Google Drive. It's a bit of a process, but I'm hoping to make it easier at some point. And then in my gallery on my phone, I have it as Insta Monday, Insta Tuesday, Insta Art, Insta Books. I have it all set up like that, so it's really easy to find. And the other thing I have is an Insta Used folder. So once I've used a graphic, be it a quote, be it something that I've pulled from Pinterest, what have you, I always try and remember to drop it into the Insta Used folder so that I don't inadvertently reshare the same content. I don't know if anybody can, keep track unless you're majorly fastidious with spreadsheets and what have you. And quite frankly, that just makes social media a pain in the butt. So this is my solution, is that I use Canva to create the graphic. It ends up on my phone in a folder that's Insta Monday, Insta Tuesday. So every day when that goes out, it is the same stuff every day of the week, and then I drag it off from that folder into the Insta Used folder. So going back to Canva, one of the fantastic things about Canva is the amount of free graphics that they have available. There is paid. I plan to upgrade to a paid subscription. It's absolutely worth it. When you're doing an Instagram post and you see all the lovely backgrounds and all that funky stuff, they provide quite a nice selection. I mean, you just have to get your creative on and figure some stuff out. I'm going to pull some graphics from this at some point and use them in the background. When you're going, for your Twitter header, when you open it up, it automatically, has the space. This is sounding like so deja vu. Like I have talked about this before. I got to find this podcast. It is pre-done with the headspace. It's pre-done for business. It's pre-done really, really well. It also has resume formats, magazine formats. It has desktop wallpapers that you can create, which is fantastic. It has all kinds of stuff. So highly recommend you give it a go, even if, and especially if you're not, very creative. Canva gives you ideas, gives you the format. It even gives you font layouts so that if you're going to be adding font to it or text to it, and you don't want to think about, which font to use, it gives you all of that as well. It's absolutely a social media dream. It really improves the quality of your online profile as far as what you're sharing on Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr. You definitely need to want to make sure, man, see, broken brain, need to make sure that you are sharing quality stuff. If you look third rate, people are going to assume you are third rate. And I've seen some really interesting feeds on Instagram where they have stuck solely with a black background and then some varieties in the text, or they've been extremely creative in the way their feed comes up. One row is white, one is black, one is red, all that kind of stuff. I think that's fantastic. It's not my way, but I think it's a great idea. Make the effort, use something like Canva so that you are creating branded content that continues to promote your business and what you offer. Be structured around what you're sharing. I focus on business and women-based quotes. I focus on books because that's one of the things I talk about and love. I do a tiny bit of family share on the Instagram. But your graphics that you're sharing, make a plan. Make a plan. Make sure that it supports what you're trying to achieve with your business and gives people an insight to what your business can do for them and how professional you are. Oh, the YouTube channel art one in Canva, I'm going a little bit over here, is a fantastic one because let me tell you, they are persnickety about the sizes. If you're working in Illustrator and you're not quite sure the graphic size, it's 2560 by 1440, just FYI. So I hope you're having a great day. If you want to get your creative on, again, it's canva.com. It is a fantastic free site. It is definitely worth paying for. It's definitely something I'm going to end up paying for. And looking forward to seeing what you've got. If you have other resources that are working for you, that are helping you to create, high quality branded graphics for your social media profiles, would love to see what you have to say in the comment section. Have a look. Instagram, I am at MCVPloof, and have a look and see what I'm putting out and get some inspiration. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Just remember that you have the guts and glories to create your story, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Bye-bye.